following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. We are back. New York Mets baseball in the zone. I'm Ralph Tyko of the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and the two Mets mavens are here, Robert Cole and Marty Rose. Start with you, Robert Cole. How are you?
Doing good. 2 beautiful days the last couple of days, and spring training started down here, and all is well.
Ah, good. How about you, Mert?
Very good. Yeah, beautiful day today. Tomorrow's going to be nice as well, and I will be in Lakeland to see the Mets at the Tigers.
I will have that on, God be willing, it's streaming. I know the Giants stream their midweek games, and
well, it should be at least on the radio someplace. I don't know about TV. I know
right.
The Mets don't.
That's what I care
about
is the radio.
Having
it in the background is just what they say in our tribe, a machaya, a pleasure. Even if it's just meaningless babble and exhibition baseball, it's nice to have it back.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
No question.
As kids, I'll start with you, Robert. What's your early memory of spring training as a kid, how you perceived it growing up in the Northeast when you saw Florida, Fort Lauderdale, St. Pete, and stuff on TV? What was that like for you as a kid in February in the Northeast?
Oh, it was like Fantasyland, Much of the time, especially, when I was growing up, we had a lot more snow, even in Brooklyn. And, thinking about the palm trees and, the Dodgers used to have their games on the radio every day from Vero Beach and other locales in Florida. And it was a lot of daydreaming, closing your eyes, listening to the sounds of the ballpark and wishing you were there and not being able to wait till the season started.
Right. Nice. Mert, how about you? Memories of the early days of all of this?
Yeah, well, same thing. You just, the few games that were actually on TV back then, you just see guys in shirt sleeves while you still got the snow shovels out, and now right. I can relate a lot better. Now it's good, but then it wasn't. It's just saying, oh man, it's freezing here.
I
Look
remember
at these
Fort
guys.
Lauderdale watching the Yankees in the exhibition games and seeing the little sailboats sail by the stadium in the background.
Yep.
And to me, I thought, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life, as soon as I can get out one way or the other, I can't be in the climate of New York. All I pictured was Florida. I had no idea about California in my head.
Right.
But I knew that New York wasn't for me. I'm going to ask you, Marty, because you've lived these last many years, up to the past 3 or 4, in New York. When we grew up, I remember walking to Newtown, freezing my ass off at 20 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
But now, when I look at the temperatures in New York, and I talk to Al Blumpkin and what have you, it's much worse than, the weather seems to be much worse than when we grew up.
I don't know. Today it was 64 in New York. So I don't know about that. I think it was. I think it was definitely a lot colder when we were kids. There was never. I don't remember ever getting a break in the middle of February. It was cold every day. I mean, if you're talking warmer, maybe it was in the 40s, but it was never in the 60s in February that I can remember. I mean, it's got to be, you know, I hate to say it, but that's exactly what it is. I mean, what else could it be? Yeah.
I can't believe there are folks out there in positions of power that deny science, for crying out loud. I just don't understand that. And why? Because they've got heirs, they've got unborn folks to carry on the world. Why would you want to put your great-great-grandchild through the hell of what it could be, unless in case the shit's not reversed? I don't understand. Once you have a kid, you have to start caring, or you're not a human. You're an alien, or just a fucktard.
We had to keep.
Or a fucktard alien.
We had to walk fast to keep warm. That's where the Newtown pace came from, you know.
Oh my God, we used to. It was what? How long?
How fast we'd walk?
Distance? How long was it? About a mile and a half.
I think it was about a mile and a half, and you know we had to be there at 9 o'clock. And I remember waiting for you. I'd be standing out there waiting for you, looking at my watch, and I said, "Geez, you know, look, 8:45. Where's Ralph? How are we going to make that in 15 minutes?" Well, we did every time.
And you're always wondering, did Ralph take an axe to the entire family? Is this the... I know it had to cross your mind. Because it did mine. You couldn't get an axe unless you were a Boy Scout. You couldn't be a Boy Scout unless you liked it. Never mind. I was a Boy Scout, and nothing like that crazy happened to Troop 123. I can tell you right now.
I didn't last long in the Boy Scouts either. So.
Did you get to wear? I got to bring home a brown uniform from the Boy Scouts, and my father escaped the war, and his parents, his mother didn't, and what have you. And when he saw a brown uniform on his kid. He about stroked out, and I really couldn't blame him. The color was just not right.
Yeah, I got you. I think I quit before we got the uniform. I like the Cub Scouts, but the Boy Scouts not too much.
Were you in my den? I
don't remember that far back, Ralph.
Oh, okay. My mother, and I posted this the other day, my mother was the matriarch of one of the most dysfunctional families on Earth at that time. Things have gotten worse on the planet since then. But she was the best den mother that ever lived. And when I think of her, I think of she would have crafts for everybody in the den, and they would do something with copper and this and that, and soap and carving out shit and what have you. Anyway, that's one of my nice memories. Forget the axe thing. I can't edit this out. and I wouldn't if I could, but is it time to talk a little Met baseball?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that. How's it shaping up, Robert?
Well, the Mets won their first spring game today, 2-1. Wilson Ramos had a home run and a double. Nobody's gotten terribly hurt. Seth Lugo broke his toe the other night in his hotel room and stubbed his toe, but supposedly he's all right, and he's already pitching bullpens, and all looks well.
Somebody said, was it you that posted something about Lowry being in in a body cast from top to bottom.
Marty
only
did.
his only
He's got
his
a leg
face
break.
is showing.
Well, I just actually, before we got on the air, I was looking at a picture. They showed the brace Lowry's wearing from his ankle up to his mid-thigh.
Oh.
And chances are, that now they said that he's taking batting practice, he's fielding ground balls, but Luis Rojas has no timetable for when and if he'll see any playing time.
Well, that does not look good by any
But
stretch.
they did sign Eduardo Nunez, and he would probably take Lowry's place if that were the case.
Good. Good. Mats is... Mert said something the other day, and I hate to... Not that I hate to admit you were right. I hate to give up on Mats. Do you think Mats is... You guys think Mats is going to be all he is, Mert?
Well, I don't think he's going to get any better. I just don't. I mean, if he stays healthy, which he did last year, he's adequate. You know, he's adequate as a fourth starter. You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. You've got guys pretty good at 1, 2, 3. So I don't know what you really expect from him, but you know.
Well, it's what we expected all this time. I mean, he's a great athlete. He's reminds me of Lincecum in some ways. He looks to be very turns his hips, this, that, and the other thing. Expected more that years ago, a couple of 3 years ago.
Right. But what you've seen since then is what you're going to get. I just don't think he's going to get any better or move up the chain in the rotation. You know.
No. When he's good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's horrible. So.
Boy, that my thinking is if he could do it when he's good, he ought to be away. Maybe it's his head, concentration. What causes that in an athlete? There's no real answer to that. It's kind of rhetorical that some guys can't just get it together most of the time.
I think he just reached his peak, and that's it. He's not getting any better. You know, this is what you see is what you get.
His best value right now might actually be out of the bullpen because they only have one reliable lefty, that's Wilson, and he can pitch multiple innings, and that might be the best fit for him. Right now, they say that him and Waka are fighting for the fifth spot in the rotation, and whoever doesn't make the fifth spot will be in the bullpen. So,
well, that might work out. Got to be happy with the way Familia looks, and I got to wish him a lot of luck. He lost some weight. Diaz too.
Yeah. He lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
He lost 30 pounds. He pitched yesterday, and he was looking a lot closer to the way he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Of course, it's early.
Somebody said on MLB that it's nice that he lost the 30 pounds, but you have to address the fact that he gained 30 pounds, and where was his head then, and what have you.
Well, he's probably coming up. Is he coming up to a contract year? Probably, right? He just had a 2-year deal.
I think he signed a 2-year deal last year. So
yeah, so that's why. I mean, seriously. I mean, these guys. Hey, I'm fat now, and I'm collecting my money. But next year, I don't know what kind of money I'll be making, so I better get myself in shape. And that counts. And I think you're going to see.
absolutely. I mean, In the olden days, when we were young and they only signed 1-year contracts, I mean, they had to stay sharp all the time.
Right.
You know, and now they sign 5-year contracts, and for 2 years, you know, they get fat and sassy, and then all of a sudden they realize it's contract time. You know, Cespedes is in that situation this year too.
Exactly.
Right. At least now he's talking to the press a little bit.
Yeah, after last week saying he wasn't going to talk all year,
right.
I'm sure
right.
Brody.
Somebody kicked him in the ass about that.
Yeah.
That's not, be it Brody or someone else, because you got to. In today's day and age, the press is what markets you. Always has been, but now more than ever, the media, not just the press, but the media. You know, there should be a way, if you put it into the computer, based on what we were just talking about, where guys play well and try harder and put their heads into it in the contract year, to tout which team is going to win by how many guys are up for contracts.
You're right. Good point.
Right. You could go to Vegas. You could go to Vegas for that. With that. Yeah, who's going to be trying harder? But then again, you have to take out the intangibles because it is baseball. Look at what's happening with Houston. Today, Altuve was booed unmercifully and hit by a pitch. And this is the first 2 or 3 exhibition games of the year.
Well, they're going to be booed wherever they go. And I guess I even heard that signs were confiscated. Now, I don't know what those signs said, but, you know.
On Saturday, which was their opening day, spring, in their home ballpark, which they share with the Nationals, and they were playing the Nationals, fans came with, you know, signs about, you know, ridiculing them, that they should give up, you know, the championship and probably some other things that can't be said, you know, on air. And they took all that stuff away from them. And there's a rule in the major leagues, okay? You guys may have seen me write about this on one of the websites. There's a rule that came into effect several years ago that at least 4 semi-regular players have to be in the lineup for every exhibition game. Yes. And, you know, they're charging full price for the exhibition game, so the fans should at least see some of the stars. Well, Houston had nobody in that opening lineup Saturday that even had a recognizable name. I mean, nobody. And the
fans paid $100 for a ticket. That's bullshit.
And the announcers picked that up right away and started talking about it. And then they were talking about it again today on a couple of the games. You know, that, you know, at least something should be done to them about that. So, you know, apparently they haven't learned their lesson about, you know, flouting the rules.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I was expecting Dusty to instill a new attitude new whatever.
Well, he makes the lineup. You know, he had to have some kind of excuse. And if anybody pressed him on it, that's not right. I don't know what he said. He had to have said something.
But everybody, you know, I mean, I checked all the box scores, and every team, no matter who it was, had at least 4 players that should probably make the roster this year. And they were the only ones that didn't.
Hey, guys, don't you miss Who's Who in baseball this time of year?
Yes, I do. I have boxes of them. I mean, I used to collect them. And They were great,
Yeah. What was great about them is that they told you where the players came from, what their minor league history was.
And and they listed all their trades, what the trades were. It was great. I spent months reading my books. In fact, I still do. I pull one out once in a while and look at it.
Right. Me too. I've got a number of them on my shelf. I even have one or two in a blue cover.
Those are going back quite a ways.
Well, we all go back quite a ways.
Well, they're also they used to give out a National League book and an American League book, and I think the National League book they used to call the Blue Book, and the American League book was the Red Book. That was
was the Red Book.
Right. And it was a different publication.
Right. And then there was the Sporting News Register that would come out, and that had great pictures of headshots of every player, and it had a great texture to the print, not the print, but the paper itself. It was so you go through it. It was just great. I have some of those from way back.
I do also.
Yeah.
I do also.
I have
now, the only thing there is now, Baseball America puts out publications now, and they're very good. Right,
and Stats Incorporated put out a whole bunch of stuff for a number of years. And then there's my favorite of today's publications, and that's Ron Chandler writes a publication that comes out early on, right after the season ends, with projections and stats and ways to look at the game, that if you're into fantasy baseball at all, you could stand to use that as a pretty good guide. This is the first year in like 27 years that I'm not playing fantasy baseball. I won it all last year for the first time in all those years, and I'm going to retire in that. And I don't need to prove anything anymore. I figure 1 out of 27 years, that's about what I would expect to win if you took my intellect into it, my attention span, and the rest of it.
You're going out on top.
Pardon? Go out.
You're going out on top.
Absolutely. And they can't say I'm over the hill anymore because there never was a hill. So it's really, I could go out, just put me out on some ice next to some Eskimo girl who's about 25, and put me out on an ice thing. And if she dies, she dies. But it's a way of my going out. Certainly we digress. I'm not going out for a while. I'm not looking for a barge with an Eskimo or a 25-year-old woman. Thank God. Because
okay, two questions that the Mets have this year on the roster. Okay, Thomas Nido and Luis Guillorme, both out of options. So they either have to be kept on the team or they have to be let go. So what do you guys think about that?
Can they, if they're kept, can they be optioned out during the year, or
no? Nope. They're all out of options. So they would either have, if they're kept on the roster and then the Mets want to do something with them after the season starts, they'd have to go through waivers. That whole, they'd have to be DFA'd, in other words.
Did I hear in the babble going on the radio in the background that Rivera is back with them?
Yes, but he's not on the 40-man roster, and Nito is.
Okay. So if they lost Nito, I don't think there's that much of a difference between the two.
Plus, that Sanchez kid should be up in the next 2 years, right? If he doesn't make it this year, he might make it the year after.
Yeah, there's serious thoughts about his bat, though. They say he could catch in the majors right now, but a lot of scouts, have a lot of doubts about his ability to hit, and that's the problem with Nito too. I mean, if Nito had a little better bat, then he's the backup. But
that's true.
Okay. And then you have Guillorme, and right now both Guillorme and Nunez, it's probably between the two of them. And you have the same situation. Guillorme is on the 40-man. Nunez is not. So, once
can't
again...
think of his name, but the center fielder they picked up from Houston...
Marisnik.
Marisnik.
Hit a home run yesterday.
Did. Yes, yeah.
And,
yes, he did.
He looks to be a pretty good athlete as well, so that's not going to hurt him.
Yeah, he made a very good catch also in the bad Sunfield.
Yeah.
In the first inning the other day against I guess it was Miami. And and the bottom of the first inning, the Miami center fielder dropped the ball in the same place in the sun.
Yeah.
So Marisnik looks pretty good.
Good omen, right there.
Yep.
Mert, is it tomorrow you're going to the game?
Yes. Tomorrow.
I want to tell you that I wish it were me. I wish it were us.
That'd be
going.
Nice.
Not
that would
me.
Be nice. Yeah.
Not me in lieu of you. Me with you. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I'm getting Waka, so I'm gonna see Waka. He's starting. So I don't know who's pitching after that. But you guys hear anything about Betances' health? Well, when is he going to pitch anytime soon? Have you guys heard anything? Or is he still nursing?
I think they're going to wait a couple of weeks before he actually gets in spring games. I think that's what I read.
Rojas seems to be creating a nice atmosphere. Robert, do you notice that?
Yeah. A low-key atmosphere, probably a lot lower key than, if Beltran had been the manager, so.
Oh, yeah, they'd be banging on garbage cans right now.
Yeah, but plus he's had a whole bunch of these guys in the minors, over the last few years. So they know
he has had every one of the Mets homegrown players come past him.
Somewhere along the line, for sure.
Yeah, so he's familiar with everyone. I think he's fine. They have him surrounded with some good coaches and stuff, so I think he'll be fine.
Right.
I think so too.
Mullins is retained as the bench coach.
Correct.
And that's a biggie because that doesn't break the continuity of the way things would have been. And I'm excited. I'm excited because we're not talking anything negative. The C word is now Cespedes, and there's a good chance he'll start the season. Marty?
Well, what I was reading, what I was reading just before we came on is that he's not expected to get any game action until the mid-March. So that might set him back a little bit. with the weather being cooler up north, they may keep him in Florida a little bit longer, and then bring him back up. I don't know. Probably the same thing with Lowry. I doubt if Lowry's going to be in New York with the team at the start.
No, probably not.
Oh. Hey, look, we've got this thing so well timed that the end is nearing, and it's for the right reasons. Is there anything, I want to make sure, is there anything on either of your minds that you want to get off before I close it?
No, let's get the season going.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it. The only thing is, I guess the leadoff position, and the actual how the lineup is going to be made up every day. I don't know. I think there should be like two guys up at the top. Like instead of batting Alonso second, I'd bring him down to third, and I'd have Nimmo and McNeil 1 and 2, and then Alonso and hopefully Cespedes, and then Conforto, and then Ramos. I think that's better set up than having McNeil somewhere lower in the lineup, and until Nimmo proves that he can't lead off and keep up that on-base percentage, I think he should be the guy up there. But I think McNeil's a perfect two-hitter, and I don't know why they don't just do that.
Well, and Rosario hit very well when he was hitting leadoff also.
He did.
So, if Nimmo, shows that he can't hit it as the leadoff, you put Rosario up there. You just
but I think Nimmo is going to have a much better on-base percentage than Rosario because of all the walks that he gets. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think one of Nimmo's problems was that he was trying to be too selective at the beginning of last year. He was trying to get those walks, and he lost his aggressiveness.
Right, he did take a lot of call strike threes. You're right.
Yeah.
He did.
And then when he came back after the injuries later in the year, he was a lot more aggressive. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he pretty much lost the whole year last year. So.
Yeah.
He still has.
One final question, guys. Has it occurred to you? It has me, and that the Mets may be better off if Cano just blows out his hamstring altogether.
Maybe.
Well, I tried to get Tanya Harding in to take care of it last year. She failed, and now she's doing insurance commercials. So, she's out of the question. So,
yeah.
Is she really doing insurance commercials? My God.
Yes.
Yeah, I did see her. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, E-Insurance.
It's great you mentioned that name. I am not one that looks on the internet for gnarly pictures. But I saw one a number of years ago of Tanya Harding that made my stomach curl. So it was an accident. I had no idea how to navigate the internet, and I've never been in a men's room in Minneapolis airport, or on a grassy knoll. So all right. But I have been on a podcast with two of the number one Met authorities ever. And I'm privileged, no shit. Robert Cole, Marty Rose, thank you for another great show.
Marty, we want a full scouting report, Marty.
I'll do my best, guys.
All right. If you have a device, just keep in touch. We'll be here.
Okay.
Wherever here is.
We'll do.
Stay healthy, gentlemen.
Thanks. You too, Ralph. Speak to you
next
Ralph.
All right. Regards to Peg and Nancy. Nancy, am I correct?
Yes.
Oh,
we'll do, Ralph. Thank you. Thank you, Tally.
All right, Bob. Later on.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I am Ralph Tyko, the weak link of it all. Adios.
Good night.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned Network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.